Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what is probably the best vegetarian pizza recipe I've ever tried. And this continues to be my favorite pizza since discovering it some years ago. Now, let me tell you, this recipe will not disappoint. And although at first glance you're thinking,
Oh, vegetarian pizza? Really?
all friends and family that have tried this pizza have agreed that it was simply delicious. Even better, you can cook this in your oven. This is a simple to follow recipe and I'll walk you through it step by step on how to replicate this amazing dish at home. I do hope you like our recipe, and please do leave us your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe for many more simple, healthy, and tasty recipes to come. Vegetarian Greek pizza recipe. Let's talk about the dough. Have you ever considered using wholemeal flour sourdough for your pizza? Let me tell you, it's a game changer. Unlike regular yeast, sourdough undergoes natural fermentation, enhancing both flavor and digestibility. Plus, it's packed with nutrients and fiber. Now, contrast that with popular pizza places where many use highly processed dough, loaded with refined flour and additives that have little nutritional value. It's not really the healthiest choice now, is it? Why not opt for a better alternative? Wholemeal flour sourdough offers a delicious twist with its nutty flavor and lighter texture, making your pizza experience both tastier and healthier. If you don't have your own sourdough already, be sure to check out our other video on how to make your own homemade sourdough with only flour, water, and some spare time. And if you don't have sourdough at hand just yet, we have another video showing the same recipe but using regular dry yeast instead. Okay, let's start with the pizza dough. To prepare this, you'll need 200 grams of sourdough, 120 grams of white flour, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, also a large bowl, a scale, a spoon, and a rolling pin. So, let's get started. First, add your sourdough starter to the bowl. Then add the white flour. Sprinkle in the salt. And the olive oil. Then mix everything together in the bowl until roughly combined. And don't worry if you don't incorporate everything just yet. Sprinkle some flour on your clean countertop. And then transfer your dough onto it. Now it's time to knead the dough. This is a very important part that should not be overlooked. Start by folding the dough in half and use the heel of your hand to push the dough down and away from you. Continue in this manner for several minutes, then turn the dough around and repeat. I know it might sound boring, but it is essential to knead the dough for around 10 minutes and really stretch it out to ensure all ingredients are blended. Continue doing this until the dough is smooth, elastic, and springy on touch. After a few times doing this, you'll get an eye to spot this easily. Put some olive oil in your bowl and transfer the dough back. Now it's time to cover the dough and let it rest for around 2 hours for it to grow. Be sure to leave this somewhere warm, avoid of draft. We like to leave our dough in the preheated oven. We warm it up to around 30 degrees Celsius beforehand. You can leave the dough in your kitchen if this is at room temperature, ideally somewhere between 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. You can also store the dough in the fridge overnight and use it the next day. Now, for pizza toppings, we will be using 1 small red onion, half a red pepper, 4 or 5 medium mushrooms, 60 grams of black olives, 30 grams of jalapenos, 100 grams of feta cheese, 60 grams of cheese, 2-3 tablespoons of tomato sauce, and for seasoning, some salt, pepper, and dry oregano. 2 hours have passed and the dough should now be ready. Yep, you can tell just by looking at it, it pretty much doubled in size. We can start preparing the final pizza base now, so sprinkle some flour on your clean countertop and transfer the dough onto it. You will now need to fold the dough a few times until shaped into a nice round piece, and make sure your dough is covered in flour to avoid sticking to the countertop. Now, I'll be using a rolling pin to flatten the dough and stretch it to create a pizza base. Make sure to flip it around and repeat a few times. You can also do this by hand by pulling from side to side, flipping and repeating until reaching the desired size and thickness. To get the dough onto the pizza stone, I like to simply fold it and transfer it over, no fuss. If you don't have a pizza stone, I would recommend investing in one if you usually bake stuff in your oven. You will need to pre-cook the dough. We like to start cooking our dough while our oven is still heating up to 180 degrees Celsius and bake it for 4 or 5 minutes before adding any toppings. Our sourdough is completely different to the regular white flour pizza dough, so it needs to be pre-cooked a bit to ensure you avoid having raw dough inside. Now that we've pre-cooked our dough, we can start adding our toppings to our pizza. Start by adding some tomato sauce. You can use pretty much any type of tomato sauce or paste. We prefer the thicker, more concentrated option. Then add your mushrooms, red pepper, olives, feta cheese, jalapenos, and red onion. Finish by seasoning with some pepper, salt, and a good amount of dry oregano. Okay, we have all the toppings on, so it's time to cook the pizza for about 10 minutes first, then add the cheese. This is to ensure your toppings are thoroughly cooked. Depending on your oven, you might have to slightly adjust the cooking times. It's best to monitor the pizza and adjust as needed in case your pizza cooks slower or quicker. Oh yeah, that looks delicious. Mamma mia! Oh yeah, that's looking good. Okay, now it's time to add the cheese, baby. After you've added your cheese, cook for another 5 minutes to ensure this gets properly melted, until slightly burnt even. Oh, that's melting nicely. Take your pizza out once ready and slice it into whatever size you find appropriate. I recommend cutting this on a chopping board so you don't break your stone by accident. And now, it's time to eat. I do hope you enjoyed this recipe too, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments if you made it this far. But until then, be sure to drop us a like and hit that subscribe if you want to get notified whenever we upload more healthy and tasty food recipes, just like this one. Until next time, I guess, blissful recipes over and out.